Hi, and welcome to Cenario, your partner in mental wellness. Here on our channel, we share educational, insightful, and science-backed content to help you understand your mental health and take meaningful steps toward a more balanced life. If you're ready to learn, grow, and take control of your wellness journey, let's jump right in.
If the very thought of getting on a plane makes your heart start to pound, you are definitely not alone. So in this explainer, we're going to navigate the pharmacy aisle together. We're breaking down all those over-the-counter options that a lot of people think about for flight anxiety. Let's dive in. Does this sound familiar? That pounding heart, the sweaty palms, that feeling in your gut as you walk towards the gate? That's flight anxiety, or aviophobia. And you know what? It is incredibly common. Seriously, the first step is just knowing that you are not the only one feeling this way.
So when you're hit with those feelings, it's only natural to look for a fast solution, right? And that's exactly why so many people turn to over-the-counter or OTC options first.
I mean, the appeal is pretty obvious. They are so convenient, they're accessible, and you don't need a prescription. The fact that you can just walk into pretty much any pharmacy, even one at the airport, and grab something right off the shelf, well, that makes these a go-to for travelers looking for some quick relief.
But what are you actually looking at when you're standing in that aisle? Well, generally, the options you'll find fall into two main categories, and we're about to break them both down.
So on one side, you have antihistamines, and on the other, you've got herbal supplements. Now, both are super easy to find, but they work in very different ways, and they each come with their own set of things you really need to consider. We're going to get into both.
Okay, first up, antihistamines, like Benadryl or Dramamine. The most crucial thing to understand here is that these were never, ever designed to treat anxiety. Their main job is to fight allergies. It's that well-known side effect of drowsiness that people are hoping will take the edge off during a flight. Now for the other path, herbal supplements. We're talking about things like valerian root or passion flower. These have a long history of being used for their calming properties, but, and this is important, their effectiveness isn't really backed up by a ton of major clinical trials. The effect can be all over the place from one person to the next. So we have our options, but just because they're easy to get doesn't mean they're totally risk-free. Not at all. So let's talk about what you really need to know about the side effects. Let's go back to those antihistamines for a second. That drowsiness we mentioned, it can very easily cross the line into feeling really groggy after the flight, or dizzy, or having a super dry mouth. So instead of arriving feeling refreshed, you could land feeling totally out of it, and that can really mess up the start of your trip. And this brings us to a really critical piece of advice. Whatever you are thinking of trying, test it out at home first. You absolutely need to know how your body is going to react on a totally normal day. Because I promise you, a bumpy flight at 30,000 feet is the absolute worst place to discover you're having a bad reaction. Okay, so what about melatonin? This is a big point of confusion for a lot of people. Let's be clear, melatonin is not an anti-anxiety medication. It's a hormone your body makes to regulate your sleep cycle. So yeah, it might help you get some sleep on a red eye, but it's not actually designed to tackle those root feelings of anxiety. Of course, being well rested can help you feel calmer, but it's more of an indirect benefit. So to make the absolute best choice for yourself, it really helps to kind of zoom out and see where these over-the-counter options fit in the whole landscape of managing anxiety. This table, it just lays out the trade-offs perfectly. As you can see, OTC meds are super easy to get, high accessibility, but their potency for real anxiety is pretty low, and you've got those side effects. Prescription meds, much stronger, but they're harder to get and carry a risk of dependency. And then there's psychological therapy, which offers the best long-term solution, but it takes a real investment of time and money. Every path has its own balance of risk and reward. And just one last super practical tip here. Always, always check the rules before you pack. Carrying medication, especially when you're traveling internationally, can sometimes cause some real legal headaches. A quick check of your destination's regulations online can save you a world of trouble at customs.
Whew. Okay, so with all this info, how do you actually move forward? Let's distill all of this down into a really clear action plan. This really brings it all together in 4 simple steps. First, identify what your specific symptoms are. What does anxiety actually feel like for you? Second, understand the OTC options, and really importantly, their limits. Third, weigh the potential side effects against any benefits. And finally, and this is the most important step by far, consult a doctor or healthcare provider. They are the only ones who can give you truly personalized advice. That really is the smartest path forward.
So, the real question is, what's your personal plan for a calmer flight? Just taking a moment to think that through, that's the first real step toward a much more comfortable journey. Safe travels!
Thank you for watching Cenario. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For personalized mental wellness supplements, visit Cenario.com. See you in the next one.